15 more minutes, guys, and we'll get started. Alright, guys. We are just about to get underway. RBA News Center, aka Tampa. It is great to see you, sir. Miss you very much. Hopefully, everything that's been going on between you and the council and just life getting busy. Hopefully, everything can find its way and we can get back to where we belong. It is the RBA Hall of Fame, Season 13. I'm really excited to be doing this again. I've been hyping up this class. I've been hyping up this election. Real quick, just before I jump into it, I'm looking at the chat right now. Let me know about the audio level. I think we're good, but I was watching the last recording from last time, and it was a little pitchy. So let me know how it sounds in the chat. But anyway, this election was a little weird. First off, up until about Sunday night, only about 15-20 people had actually voted. So I was getting a little nervous about that because we had about 30, I think the number was 33 last time. So it was okay. And then Sunday night happened and 15-20 people voted, and we ended up getting more this time that voted than last time. So big shout out to the community. Thank you very much for taking the time to vote. So that was one part of it. I knew we were already going to be in a kind of a weird spot. And just watch the results. I don't want to give anything away. Obviously, you'll see it here in a minute. So let's get right into it. RBA News Center, also named Tampa, in the chat said, I would love to say hi again to the community. They were awesome. Yes, sir. Please come back. I think we speak for everyone. I speak for everyone when I say we want you back, buddy. It's not the same without you. Okay. Here we go. The RBA Hall of Fame, Season 13. So, last time we talked about a couple of the different ways that you have to gain admission. We talked about some rule changes. I won't go over all of them again. Those are the ones in white, but we did institute a new rule change starting this election, where if a player receives 15% or less of the vote in 2 consecutive ballots, they're disqualified for any future Hall of Fame consideration. So there were 4 guys that last election got less than 15%. Obviously, that illustrious 6% group. These were the 4 right here. Austin says, did I miss anything? Not really. No, we were just jamming out to some tunes. I've got over here a little shout out to Chad Bossman from Black Panther fame, who passed away earlier this weekend. So we're just listening to some music from Black Panther and watching some memes that have been floating around. So no, you didn't really miss anything. Anyway, these were the 4 guys that last election, were under 15%. So you back them: Rochelle, Haiti, and Maven. So keep an eye out on these guys. If they hit under 15% again in this election, they are all disqualified. All right, so a couple things at a glance. 39 total players were submitted this time, over double, I think, what we had last time. 20 different teams were represented. We had 16 last time, so it looks like it's growing, which is all I can ask for. Really excited to see it grow. So in total, 4,869 games were played between these 39 players. Interesting point, we've never had, in the 2 elections, we've never had a Rookie of the Year, a kicker, or an offensive lineman. It's never happened. So hopefully we'll see a couple of those guys. We did finally get some running backs this season. We got 2 actually. So excited to see that. So still waiting on a kicker, still waiting on an offensive lineman, still waiting on a Rookie of the Year. The most submitted position this election was defensive back. We had 12. Last time it was defensive lineman. This season, it's defensive backs. And then a couple little tidbits of fun information. 227,059 total yards, 3,234 reception touchdowns, 30,494 tackles, 182 sacks. And again, this season, more members voted than last season. We had 34 total members vote this season. Only 289 votes were utilized, so about 60 votes did not get used this season. So we should have had, if everyone voted the 10 that they're allotted, we would have had 340 total votes. Only 289. It's a lot of votes missing. All that to say, you needed 26 members to gain. That's 75%. And I can see in the chat, hello, Chicago. Nice to have you here, buddy. And yes, we miss you, Tampa. Please come back soon. All right. So let's get into the 39 total candidates for the Hall of Fame Season 13. First guy is Clifton Glasgow from Texas Stars. You're going to notice a lot of Texas Stars in this election, which we'll get into later. The thing about Glasgow from the chat was that he was living in Deshaun Dahl of the Chicago Rams' shadow. Apparently Glasgow would be Deshaun Dahl if Deshaun Dahl did not exist. Maybe he's the Peyton Manning of Deshaun Dahl's Tom Brady. I don't know. But to be fair, Glasgow did put up some serious numbers. 184 total games. That's number one for all of the quarterbacks that were submitted so far. 79,537 yards. Number one for all of the quarterbacks so far. 1,098 touchdowns. He's the first quarterback submitted that had over 1,000 touchdowns thrown. And he has a QB rating of 149.9, which was also number one. So pretty serious player. And in-game, you can see there are 5 MVPs, 7 total rings. So he is a bit of a beast. I don't know if this is better than Deshaun Dahl, but I guess we'll see. John Gore, this is the second time he's been on the ballot. He was on the ballot, obviously, in the first season. Number one in attempts, number one in completion percentage. And unfortunately, well, actually, I think the way I did that, 70 interceptions is also the best in terms of not throwing. It's the least amount of the 3 quarterbacks that are in this class. So even though everyone talks about Deshaun Dahl, everyone talks about a couple of these other guys, the Reverend Jesse Jackson from the High Rollers. John Gore also puts up some serious numbers as well. So in-game, not as many rings or MVPs as obviously we saw from Glasgow, but still, in terms of those numbers, a very competitive quarterback. And then our last quarterback comes from PA Liberty. This is a new guy on the ballot as well. That Black Panther. Oops. Yes. Yeah, I'm doing this for, that's Black Panther over there on the left, or on the right, depending on how this is set up right now on the YouTube channel. But I thought it would be good to give him a little shout out. We were playing some Black Panther music earlier. I just really liked Black Panther, and I think as a cultural icon, I had to do something. So rest in peace, Chad. So anyway, Wendell Harbin from the PA Liberty. He is one of the longest serving members of the PA Liberty team. Obviously, I hope you guys know PA Liberty. Great guy. He's always around. One thing I thought was kind of funny about his bio, his obsession with ketchup, which to this day, neither him nor his teammates can explain. I don't know what that means. Looks like Peshtigo Fire's here, and Band Kids. What's going on, guys? Good to see you, Band Kids. Good to see you, Fire. Hopefully, we get some good results today. Anyway, let's move on. We got a running back from the Seattle Sockeyes. This is also a first ballot guy, Malcolm Butler. Number one in receptions and reception yards as a running back for the running back class. Now, there's only 2, but Malcolm Butler, if you look there, obviously was utilized a lot more in the pass game. 463 receptions, 6,270 yards, played 87 games, had 0 fumbles. I take that back. So obviously Malcolm Butler had a little bit of a steel grip. So nice job, Malcolm Butler. Then obviously we've got Dijon Butt here. This is my guy here. Just real quick, we'll run through him. 106 games, 4,456 attempts, 32,000 yards roughly, and 456 total touchdowns. A little known fact about him, if you look, 188 receptions, 1,047 yards. So he caught the ball. Threw the ball a couple times there. throughout his 5 or 6 seasons that he was with me. 18 total fumbles, though, is pretty bad. So the first season, he fumbled quite a bit. And then the second season got a little bit better. Every season he got better, but those first couple seasons, that's why he's at 18 fumbles. So interesting to see if that ends up being something that keeps him out of the Hall. What is going on, Legionnaires? I just saw you join, buddy. Good to see you. Hopefully work is not kicking your ass every time I talk to you. It sounds like you're just getting worked to death. Hopefully your internet is working as well, too. Leon Grigsby from the Utah Winter Storm, a tight end. He is on here for the second time. He's a second ballot guy. Let's see if the only tight end that has ever been submitted so far gets any kind of love this time. Didn't know you passed Aloof. I passed 188 times. And it was that first season when I was just learning, getting used to running, so I still would do a little pass every now and then. Joe Silk, this is also a second ballot candidate. 25,248 yards, 375 touchdowns, and was part of that vaunted, that illustrious Red Comets team that has been moving up the table every season. Didn't make it last season, but got very, very close. Got about 69 to 70% of the vote last season. Again, you have to make 75 to make the ballot, or to make the Hall of Fame. Hakeem the Dream Bakum from Devil's Rejects. This is one of our 6% guys. So let's see if he improves again as a 6%er. If he doesn't get at least 15.1% of the vote this time, he's out. Brad Smith from the Peshtigo Fire. This is Smith's first time on the ballot. Peshtigo, right? You only had Connor Pryor last election. Could be wrong. Anyway, Brad Smith, 22,355 yards, 340 touchdowns. Got signed as a free agent, which is kind of surprising. He put up a lot of great numbers, though, and see if he's got what it takes to make it into the Hall of Fame. Trajan Bridges from the Texas Band Kids. Texas, I hope you're still here to see this, buddy. This guy put up some serious numbers for the wide receiver class. 1,899 receptions. That's number one for all wide receivers. 30,349 yards and 473 touchdowns. All of those, number one for wide receivers in this class. And got 4 MVPs. So obviously in-game, also got the respect. Aloof says that... Aloof says the T likes tea? What? Aloof says T likes tea. What are you trying to say there, Tampa? I don't know what you're saying. And Raphael Light from the Winterfell Legionnaires, 158 games. That's number one between all of the wide receivers in this class. Obviously, was part of that great Legionnaires team. I also think he actually started out as a Wolfpack member. I think Light was part of LA Wolfpack before they became Winterfell Legionnaires. Plus, I retired, so there's that. Yeah, Legionnaires retired, by the way, if you hadn't known and you're watching this. But anyway, 27,407 yards, 409 touchdowns. Again, great numbers. Let's see if Raphael Light can get in. And then we've got New York Pickles wide receiver Sam Swoops. Sam Swoops was on the ballot last season. I think he was somewhere in like the 40 to 50% range. I could be wrong about that. I apologize, Pickles. But a guy that was kind of on the cusp last season. Let's see if he can get in this season. And then Texas Stars, Clinton Kalu. This is, again, a guy that was on the ballot last season. That 95-yard touchdown pass, that long right there, is still number one for any class that's been 95. It's incredible. I wish you could have recorded that. 27,477 total yards, 363 touchdowns. Again, didn't make it last season. Let's see how he improves or doesn't improve this season. And then John Mays, again, last season was on the ballot. Texas Stars, again, 22,967 yards, 318 touchdowns. Kind of got a little overshadowed by his running mate over there that we just looked at from the Texas Stars, but still another player that put up some serious numbers for his career. And then we got a third. I wonder if Stars got someone in. Well, Rams, you're going to have to see. But anyway, I think he submitted 10 guys, so you're going to see a lot of Texas Stars on here. But this is the third Texas Stars wide receiver, 26,623 yards, an average of 18.3 yards per reception, was number 1. I mean, that's incredible. Apparently, this was his deep ball guy. 353 total touchdowns. B.J. Hardy from the Winterfell Legionnaires, he was on the ballot last season, 17 sacks. So even though he only played about 92 games, which is almost right there on the edge of what you need to even get submitted on the ballot, 85 games being the minimum, and he only got 739 tackles, 17 sacks is really what should stand out. That's a big number there. And of course, I love this bio that Legionnaires helped write up from the vantage point of Snoop Dogg. So if you get a chance to read it, make sure you do. From the Marching Ents, another defensive line, Samwise Slamji. Won't go too far into his bio. Again, this was another guy that was on the ballot last season. Let's see how he improves or doesn't improve this season. Jeremy Maven from the Ultimate Toasters. This was a guy that is part of that 6% group. So again, he has to get over 15% this season, this election, or he will not be on the ballot next election. Nick Ramirez, this is again an Aloof Balloons guy, on the ballot last season as well. Wasn't really too high. I think he got like 22%, so he wasn't very high. Let's see how he improves or doesn't improve this season. 6% guy, Virgin Rochelle, one of the big goats of the meme game that we've been watching over the last couple weeks, actually, since the last election. So let's see how Rochelle does this season. Fabian Whitney from the Milan Roadrunners. Roadrunners retired as well, I think, this season. So he's no longer here. I don't even know if he'll be watching this. This guy, though, Whitney was on the ballot last season. Again, let's see if he can improve on this one. Seattle Sockeyes, Paris Templey. Look at this. 31 total sacks. 31. So that is, if it's not obvious, that's number 1 total sacks this election. Huge number. Incredible. Morris Falah from the Cambridge Punters. This is a second ballot guy, but last election, he was number 1 in total games played and tackles for defensive linemen. This season, number 1 again in total games and tackles, and 16 sacks. I think that's a healthy number for defensive linemen. Chuma Perfect, 29 sacks. Whew. I don't know. He's a 5-star guy. He played like it. 1,379 tackles, which, if you've been watching, if you've been paying attention, the number of tackles, that's a little bit low, but 29 sacks is just nuts. RBA News said, let's see here. If Aloof puts out a poll on Twitter asking if Tampa should come back, and 90% or more say yes, then I will consider coming back. You're putting it on me to do a poll? I don't want that pressure. I don't want the pressure of putting out a poll. I mean, what if you don't get 90% now? What if you get 89%? What would you be accepting of 75%? What's your minimum number? What's your minimum number that you'll accept to get back in here, Tampa? Because I will make fake accounts to get you back into this if that's all it takes. Ultimate Toasters, I see you looking, buddy. Good to see you. You just missed Jeremy Maven if you weren't in the chat before that, but we did talk about him a little bit. He's on the cusp. So last season he got about 13%. He needs to get more than 15% this election, or Maven's out for season 3. Third, if you will, Hall of Fame class. Spaghetti. This is another guy that's on the chopping block. He's got to improve. Let's see here. Devil's Reject said 90% of people don't vote. Yeah. No, that's fair. They don't vote in the Hall of Fame as much either. Jalil Tonian, I can never pronounce it. Arizona Vipers. Tampa said possibly 80%. We're bargaining now. How about 70%? 70%? That's still it's not 3/4, but 2/3, over 2/3. It's not bad. Please, Tampa, 2/3. Can you do me that? Jaleel, number 1 for linebackers in games played and tackles, 1,114, 7 interceptions and 6 sacks. So here's the thing, guys. Defensive linemen clearly have gotten more sacks. Guys are getting 15 to 20, even 30 sacks. But no interceptions. But linebackers are getting interceptions and sacks. Not 20, 30 sacks, but they are getting sacks, but they're also getting interceptions. So my question to you guys would be, are linebackers more, they more useful when building a team than a defensive lineman? Should we be stocking up on linebackers, not defensive linemen? Graham Wesco from the New York Pickles. This is a new guy that's on the ballot. 15 total sacks. So look at this. This is a guy that's a linebacker. 6 interceptions. Again, no defensive linemen have any interceptions that I've seen so far, and there's been a lot on this ballot. But he got 15 sacks, so that's right up there with the defensive linemen. I'm reading the chat right now. Tampa says 75. Okay. 75 it is, sir. And then here's our one of our more famous players, Connor Pryor. This is the second time he's on the ballot. He's not in danger of being kicked off or disqualified. He got more than 15% last season, but he didn't get 75, which would have got him in the Hall of Fame. But let's see if he improves this season. I'm rooting for you, Pescio Fire. Hopefully this guy or Smith gets in. And then Lane Calitro, again, another defensive back from the Yaks from last season. Let's see how he improves. I'm reading the chat again. The Ultimate Toaster Simon said there's less going on under the hood than people think, so I don't know if any defensive player is better than another based on position. Fair enough. But from the stat perspective, it looks like linebackers generate more turnovers than defensive linemen. It's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. Ty Yadam, this is a first guy that was submitted from Seattle Sockeyes. Hopefully one of you guys get in. 2,106 tackles, 11 interceptions. This is a very solid player, and for only a 4-star. Travis Kappa, again, another Cambridge Punters player. 139 total games, 1,429 tackles. 4 interceptions is pretty light. So let's see if that made an impact. This is the second time that he's been on the ballot. Rob Apple from the Chicago Rams. One of my best friends on this. He's a good guy. So Rams, this is for you, buddy. 1,870 tackles, 5 interceptions. One time he spent an offseason in jail and played a season on probation. So what did he do? Why did he get thrown in jail? Looks like Cubbies is here. So hey, Cubbies, how are you doing, buddy? Lucas McKever from the Winterfell Legionnaires. This is another defensive back that I want to key in on. If you look here, first in games between all defensive backs, first in tackles, first in interceptions, 17 interceptions, 17 turnovers that he generated. Just an incredible number there. And here's the big thing. 1 MVP. Yeah, you've seen that correctly. 1 MVP. I've never seen a defensive player make MVP. Has anyone else had that? He's not a great guy, is what Rams just said about Apple. No, he's a bad apple for sure, buddy. But yeah, Lucas McKever, MVP as a defensive back. Pretty incredible. Another defensive back from Winterfell Legionnaires, 14 interceptions. Again, not bad there either. For some reason, Legionnaires just knows how to pick defensive backs. So let's go see what he can do. Winterfell Legionnaires just had 9 interceptions in one season. Never forget. Yeah, that's incredible. How many total seasons did he end up playing? So 9 of them came from one season. How many seasons did he end up? Another Texas Band Kids player. Texas, if you're still around, buddy. Here's a guy, defensive back. His name is Lockdown, which is, if you're going to name a kid Lockdown, I guess he doesn't have any career choices other than to be a lockdown defender. So, and he was exactly that. 1,472 tackles, 8 interceptions. Good luck, Lockdown. Tendy Nelson. So here come a bunch of Texas Stars players. 9 interceptions, 1,295 tackles. Only had 1 ring, which is interesting. I don't know why he only has 1 ring there. But anyway, Dak Pepper, another Texas Stars player. 6 interceptions, 257 tackles. This is probably legitimately the worst player on the ballot. I'm not afraid to just say that. 257 tackles, 6 interceptions is pretty light, Texas Stars. Roquan Pimpkin with probably the best hat wardrobe I've ever seen. 1,450 tackles, 7 interceptions. And I love the hat. Don't you mean Liberty's defensive back? No, I don't think so. No, it's a Texas band kid. Oh, from when I messed up. Yeah, the first time. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough, Rams. Blindy Duhart, 1,483 tackles, 8 interceptions. Again, another Texas star player. I think, again, he had 10 throughout the whole time. All right. It's time. It's time to see who got in. So I'm going to change the music up a little bit, as I want to do, to give it a little bit of fanfare here. Okay. It is time to see who got in. Clifton Glasgow, first time on the ballot, 52.9% of the vote. Didn't get in, but he will be back next season. John Gore, last season on the first ballot, he got 54.5. He dropped down to 20.6 on this ballot, so he did not get in. Wendell Hardman from the PA Liberty, first time on the ballot, 8.8% of the vote, so he will make the ballot next season, but he'll be in danger of being disqualified next election. Malcolm Butler, first ballot, received 8.8% of the vote. He as well will not be getting in and is also in trouble of being disqualified. Dijon Butt, first ballot, received 97.1% of the vote. He's in. Thank you very much. Glad to see it, Dijon. Leon Grigsby, 18.2%. The first ballot this season, 11.8. So again, under that 15%. Here we go. Under that 15%. Next season, if he doesn't get over 15%, he will be disqualified as well. Joe Silk. This is a big drop. Joe Silk, I thought actually was going to get in this season because in the first ballot he got 69.7. But this ballot he dropped to 50%. Still within a good zone, I think. I think 50% is still very good. But again, to drop 18 points almost is pretty hard. Hakeem the Dream. Not a big drop off. You dropped off, Hakeem. 6.1% last season, 5.9, but you didn't drop. You dropped off 0.2. That's not bad. That's not bad. I hate to break it to you, though. I mean, that means you're disqualified. I'm sorry, Devil's Rejects. It means you're disqualified for the next election, but not a big drop off. So obviously you had your supporters, you had your fans. Brad Smith, second time on the. It says second time on the ballot. I think it was just your first time. I apologize, Peshigo. That's incorrectly drawn up by the Historical Society Committee. First ballot, 17.6%. Did not get in, but he will be back. Trajan Bridges, very, very close. First time on the ballot, got 67.6%. I think it was that correlates to 2 votes. I think he was off by 2 votes. He would have gotten 75% if 2 other people had voted for him. But he will be back, and again, 67.6 is healthy. Raphael Light from the Winterfell Legionnaires, surprisingly, 38.2. I thought for sure he'd be in that 50 to 65, maybe 70, even getting in, to be frank with you. But only got 38.2. There's a pattern here you guys are starting to hopefully see. Sam Swoops, last ballot, got 15.2. This ballot, 8.8. So dropped almost half. And again, he'll be on the chopping block next election. He got over 15% last one. So he'll be on the ballot next election. Clinton Kalu, this was probably the biggest drop-off. A 31% drop-off. He had 63.6 last season. 32.4. I'm keeping one eye on the chat because there's going to be a lot of broken hearts today. I hate to say it, guys, but I don't want to look at it because I just want to power through and just get over with. Just get it over with. But I am keeping an eye on the chat. Sorry, Winterfell, I know. I was surprised by that one, too. Johnny Umays, 54.5. I take that back. Looks like this was one of the bigger drops-offs. 54.5%. Only got 14.7 in this election. Ultimate Toaster says, I can't wait to see my defensive line get only 1 vote. Foster Quinn, 17.6% on his first ballot. It's harsh. It's a harsh group of voters. BJ Hardy, 27.3 the first ballot, 11.8 11.8 on this ballot. Again, harsh, very harsh. Samwise Slamji went from 45.5, again, a very healthy 45.5, dropped down to 29%. So let's see how he improves next season. Jeremy Maben, 12.1% last ballot, so he had to get 15% or better this election. Fortunately, he didn't. Ultimate Toasters, 2.9. I think that correlated to 2 votes. Sorry, buddy, but Jeremy Maben will not be qualified to run in the next election. Nick Ramirez, 27.3, dropped almost 20 points to 8.8. On the third ballot, he needs to get more than 15, or else he's off the ballot as well. Virgil Rochelle, almost doubled. This is some positive news in this bloody train of news. Almost doubled his ballot. Unfortunately, he didn't get 15%, so he's going to be disqualified, but he did double his number, almost. So, Rochelle, congratulations, buddy. Peshko Fire said, listening and driving like a boss. Dude, do not drive and listen to this stream, buddy. Be careful. We need you around. Fabian Whitney, 15.2%. So he was okay. Again, he had to get 15% or more, so that 0.2 saved him because he only got 3.8 this election. Harsh voting group again. Paris Templey, 58.8. I think that's a solid number, especially with the way you can see people were voting this election. 58.8 is I think, very solid number. Hopefully that looks better, and he can get on the 75% of voting next season. Morris Falah went from 45.5 to 26.5. Chuma Perfect, who had serious numbers. Again, this was another guy that I was very surprised did not get in. I would have expected him to get in. And even 55.9, 56% is healthy. I would have thought he would have gotten more even if he didn't get in. But just didn't have it. Yeah. Is everyone seeing that correctly? 0%. 0%. 9.1% last season. 0% this season. 6%. 6% is godly. 0% is the new 6%. This guy is the standard now for excellence. No, Tyrants did not even vote for his guy. I don't know why. I didn't say anything. 0%. He is the GOAT. Spaghetti is the GOAT. I want to see lots of spaghetti memes. I want to see lots of spaghetti posts. Spaghetti is the new 0%. Jaleel Tonian, again, dropped, went from 33% last season to 17.6. So, better luck next season, Arizona Vipers. Graham Wesco from the New York Pickles, a guy, again, that had some serious numbers. This is the linebacker that had the 15 or 16 sacks on top of his interceptions, but only got 50% of the vote. So, Connor Pryor dipped into the danger zone here. He went from 27.3 to 11.8. He now has to get 15% or better next election, or he is out. So, Connor Pryor, you're fighting for your life, buddy. Good luck. Lane Calitro, another guy that's going to be in the danger zone next election, went from 18.2 to 8.8. Ty Yadam, again, this is incorrectly displayed on the screen. I apologize, Seattle Sock guys. This is actually the first time he's been on the ballot. 35.3%. Last season, I would have said this is probably not great, but again, if you can see, 35% is actually probably pretty good. So, Travis Kappa, 2.9%. I think that correlated to 1 vote, which was probably Cambridge punters. He got 15.2 last election, so he's okay, but next season, again, he's going to have to get higher than 15, or again, he's out. Rob Apple got 2. Okay, take that back. Yeah, again, probably this is 1 vote. Rob Apple got 2.9% of the vote. So Legionnaire said this is a little too small. The tribe has spoken. The tribe has spoken. I mean, there's about 35 people that voted both times, and the tribe has spoken. So Lucas McKever, again, this is a guy who I thought, again, that one. I mean, this is a defensive player that had an MVP caliber season, broke the record, 9 interceptions in that season. Fantastic numbers across the whole. 3.5-star player, by the way, if you haven't noticed, he's a 3.5-star player to get those kind of numbers. Only got 44%. Daryl Winbush, another Winterfell Legionnaires player, 26.5% of the vote. Locked Down from Texas Band Kids, 5.9% of the vote. So again, he's in trouble of being kicked out next election. Everyone, I told you this was going to be, everyone's reacting. It's not my fault. It's not my fault. I just put the numbers together. I don't do anything. I put this together. It's not me. Everyone's reacting. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. If only like 5 people voted in this thing, I'd say, well, only 5 people voted. You're going to get what you're going to get. But, I mean, 35 people voted. And again, 34 people voted last one. I don't know. Do we add more votes? I mean, here's the thing. Like I said earlier, I don't mean to stay on lockdown here, but everyone gets 10 votes. And there were over 60 votes that were not used. So people just aren't voting. I think 10 is a good number for people to use. If just people don't use them, they're not going to use them. 60 votes. I mean, think about how many players could have drastically improved with a few of those votes. I mean, I don't know. Tenny Nelson, 2.9%. I'm just going to power through these defensive backs for Texas Stars. It was pretty low, I think, if I remember correctly, all of these. So Tenny Nelson, 2.9%. Dak Pepper, 2.9%. Roquan Pimpkin got 11.8%. Again, all of these guys I'm talking about are going to be in trouble of being disqualified next election. And then Blindy Duhart, 11.8 as well. So there we go. That's it. So DQ'd due to low turnout in 2 elections are 6% boys, Ibacham, Rochelle, Spaghetti, and Maven. The bottom number, I know I'm blocking. I don't know Black Panther's blocking a number 2, but at the bottom is the first results from the first season, and then the second one at the top there is what they got this season. So you can see they all got under 15% twice, so they're all out. They will not be on the ballot next season. So, our potential Hall of Famers, let me move Chad out of the way for just 2 seconds. And I'll move myself. These are potential Season 14 Hall of Famers just based on how they performed this election. Although, as you can see, it's probably not an exact science. But Bridges got 67.6%. Very, very close to getting the Hall of Fame. Templey from the Seattle Sockeyes, 58.8, and then Perfect Texas Stars, 55.9. Yeah, you didn't see anything incorrect. Texas, I think, submitted 10 guys and not 1 got in. So better luck next time, Texas Stars. That said, only 1 guy. Only 1 guy got in. Only 1 guy got 75%. It was Dijon Butt, who was one, if I can say, was 1 vote away from a unanimous vote. I won't say who didn't vote for him. I know who didn't, but this is the only guy that got in. So, in total, we have 4 guys in the Hall of Fame. Godsell from the New Orleans Voodoo, Speck from the Tyrants, Smith, linebacker from the Tyrants, and, of course, Dijon Butt from Aloof Balloon. I see already someone said rigged. So I will tell you that another rule change that was implemented based on what people wanted and voted for. They want to see who voted for who. So I've got that, and I'll release that sometime tomorrow, maybe tonight after this, and you can see who voted for who. And get mad at those guys. Don't get mad at me. But anyway, that is it. I'll leave it open here for a couple more minutes maybe just to talk through and see what you guys think. I'm looking at all of the reactions. It was a brutal, bloody mess of a Hall of Fame election. A lot of guys are going to be on the chopping block next season, so we're cleaning house. It was a Thanos snap of an election, and so we got some things coming down the pipeline. So I've been talking with New York Pickles, Devil's Rejects, obviously Ultimate Toasters, about potentially improving the way that we're showing the stats, showing things like per game averages, so that players can get, or voters can get a better idea of how a guy performs game to game, so that you're not just seeing his raw career stats, although personally I favored those over any kind of per game average. But it was a suggestion that was brought up. I think it's great, and I will definitely implement that next election. You'll see per game averages as well, and we'll see how that impacts things. So thank you guys all very much for taking the time to sit with me and watch this.